Hi, this is my screenshots folder. It had roughly 3000 screenshots. We all know we hardly use any of the screenshots. I take a lot of screenshots, and in the next 5 to 10 minutes I'll either upload it somewhere or I'll paste it somewhere in an email or somewhere, and then I'm basically done with it. But they stay around for a very long time in our screenshots folder, and when I'm trying to upload anywhere in a browser or anywhere, that little window that opens up used to take like a lot of time to load everything and then sort accordingly based on the latest screenshot I've taken. That was that was actually bothering me, and I tried Claude Cowork. What it did, if I get rid of this, yeah, this is how my screenshots folder looks like right now. Basically, I moved all of the screenshots into relevant folders based on year/month. So we go back to 23. In 23 I only took screenshots in July for some reason, so that is one folder and all done. 24 I'm able to see 1 2 3 4 5 months I took screenshots and all done. So this is basically this only leaves all the screenshots that are of this current month. Apart from that, everything else is just moved, and this row runs automatically every single month, so I don't have to do this cleanup anymore. Anytime I can come back and see like, hey, I just want to have the last 3 years worth of screenshots, or last 1 year of screenshot, or the current year of screenshot, get rid of everything else, or like a rolling 12 months, rolling 3 months, you can do anything. I'll show you what I did. So I used Claude desktop app, not the Claude website on a browser. So I wanted it to have access to my computer, so I did that. This is very simple, very basic, very vague prompt I have mentioned over here, just asking it to organize my screenshots folder, and it just asked me 2 things. Number 1, can you confirm where actually your screenshots are stored, the path to the folder, and secondly it just asked like, hey, it just confirm what format do you want it to be saved in, the folder structure. It should be year and then month within. So that is what happened over here. It was then able to give me a preview that, hey, if I go ahead, this is what's going to happen. And also, before it acted or anything, I just added this line over here. I usually add this in all of my prompts. If you have any clarifying questions, feel free to ask. This basically tells Claude that, hey, if you are ever in a position that when you have to assume certain things, don't do that, just ask me. So there you go. And it was like, if I open thought process, it first tried to understand what is the user asking me to do. So this first line that you see over here is basically Claude trying to understand what are you asking it to do, and then it was like, hey, okay, before proceeding, let me ask these questions. This is the question, these are the questions that it asked me, and yeah, and then it figured out, okay, now's the time to ask. Then it asked me the questions, I gave my input, and then it was like, okay, the user wants to move screenshots into this particular folder structure, and the path is this. For the path is also, it also gave me few common paths / downloads and everything. 3-4 options were there. Nothing was matching what I wanted, so I just uploaded my own. You can do that as well, and then it requested access to my directory, and everything was fine after that. Now once this happens, so you might be wondering that, hey, why this is all cool and everything, but why would I want to do this every single time? I will even forget about this, right? Until similar problem comes later, when I am facing that inconvenience that, hey, the folder is taking way too long to actually load. So I did this one thing. What you can do now, once I am satisfied with Claude's output, I actually asked it to convert that into a skill, which is basically get saved. Okay, until here I just gave my permission that, hey, okay, fine, you can go ahead and do it. I did miss one single file over here. I'll tell you what happens with that. Yeah, I told it, I clarified that, hey, okay, whatever the current month is, just till from the beginning of the time till current month minus 1 month till last month, sort and organize all of those, like basically archive those, leave the current month open. So that's it. So it did that. It roughly handled all the screenshots for me. Then I asked it one thing. Awesome, basically I am satisfied with the output that you have given me. Create a skill for this task and schedule it for the 1st of every month. It did a bunch of things over here. If you are interested, you can actually open this and see what actually happened, and that's it. I was basically satisfied with the output, so I just saved it and I was like, okay, I am done over here. Then you can actually click on this particular skill and you can see on the right hand side what are the actual instructions. So you see, I just mentioned all of this over here. These are my texts. This is my back and forth conversation with Claude. It was able to understand and comprehend everything and then create a standard operating procedure for itself, which is basically Claude skill. So on the right hand side you can see what it does, again step by step, and then there are further steps, and then what is the actual script. It has used Python. I do understand Python, but honestly I am not concerned with this code at all, because again my job is getting done over here, so I'm not concerned about this. It is fine whatever it wants to do over here. Output after running report to the user, number of files moved and into which year month. So basically very little, very small report, something like this, yeah, comes in these n number of files were moved into these number of folders. That's it. Apart from that, all good. So I was very happy with this thing and it got scheduled. Now the problem what I mentioned about this particular file called Titan Company peer analysis.png, you can see this is still over here. What happened over here is that if you see there is a date in the name of the file itself. So Claude has been depending on the file name, that hey, which is a fair assumption, because it was able to move what I think 99% of the files by itself based on that assumption. But what I actually wanted it to do is like open the file and check the properties, and there you will be able to find when this file was actually created on. So for example, this Titan, the screenshot is from June 25. So I basically want this moved to 2025 folder and the June folder. Second problem with this is that you see these O1-January and O2-January, everything else is as is. That's the manual renaming I have done, these folders I showed you earlier. Now for example, if I open this big folder, there are 12 months. Now it is still inconvenient for me to actually figure out which month should I go back to. I would have preferred, because I cannot sort it. If I like, these are name of the months, right? These are not in ascending order. So for me to have a better ordering system, it should at least have numbers. What's happening? Yeah, so I can actually sort it, right? And it is in a particular order. So, but what happens? These are the two issues we faced. And so in Claude, what you can actually do once the skill is set, right? Now you're thinking, oh, okay, I'll have to come over here, go to this. Do I have to fix the Python code? No, you don't have to do that. What will happen over here? You can just close this thing. And now when you open the skill, it will basically come in your all scheduled tasks. You can find that here which one actually runs. So mine is called monthly screenshot organizer. I click over here and I can see the history. Every single month it is supposed to run. The first time I ran it was roughly in March. So the next time it ran was in April, on April 1. And that is when I realized I just completely forgot about this particular Titan screenshot. Now I realized that hey, okay, why did this not move? And then I opened the history and you can actually chat further. This just happened, I think I just mentioned this thing to it. That file Titan Company doesn't have a date in the name. Have you been depending on that? Couldn't you rather access the date time of the screenshot file itself, because you have access to like Python and everything, right? You should be able to do that. It did something, it figured it out, but it was going forward with the modification timestamp, which is not something I wanted. I wanted the creation timestamp. So in that case, which is also something that is my mistake, I did not clarify it. So therefore an assumption happened over here. I just mentioned date time. Now for every file there are roughly 3 date times. Number 1, when it was created on. Number 2, last modified on. 3, when it was basically deleted on. So I did not clarify that, and it did a good assumption that hey, I can go with modified, but I don't want it to be on the modification. I said now use the creation timestamp instead of the modification timestamp. Now what happened? It figured out a bunch of stuff, but you'll see one thing over here. One note on Linux, true creation time is exposed as blah blah blah. Basically, I am not on a Linux system. Linux is basically an operating system. I am on a Windows system, and I can also see I'll use that with a fallback to whatever. You don't need to be concerned with this. As long as it is working, everything is fine. This is just everything happened, and then basically it gave me an updated skill that hey, okay, fine, I am doing this now. Leaves the current month untouched, falls back to the file's creation timestamp for files without a date in the name. So this change was happened. This change just happened. I was able to save the skill. Let's quickly wait for it, and then we'll rerun the workflow. So what you can actually click on Cowork, or you can click on this new task and just write once again. There is also a way, whenever you save, this manage option comes up over here. So this is one that I have. There's also a way, a shortcut to actually run this skill, which is basically you add a / and do screenshot - organizer. This is basically the name of any skill that you have. You can do that, or you can just click on try and chat from here. I'll do one thing. I'll go back. I'll start a new task and I'll say my / I can either start typing and there will be my search results. Yeah, you can click on that, click on let's go, and so basically what we're expecting, this file Titan company pair analysis.png move to June 2025. Let's see what happens. Again, I did something. I was satisfied with it. I had a back and forth with Claude. Once I was satisfied, I asked it that hey, I am happy with what you're what you have been suggesting so far. Just save this process so that not every time I have to do the whole single thing. Now for example, 3 months later I had to do this manually once again. I just did / and mentioned the name of the skill. I'll quickly click on allow here. If it asks you, just you can click on that. And now I don't have to do that back and forth anymore. I don't have to repeat myself over here. It saved that as an SOP, basically a standard operating procedure, as a process, and it's completely documented end to end. If there are any confusions, any ambiguities, it will always ask us. But let's see what happens over here. And also we have put that skill on a schedule, so every single month it is just going to run over there. Let's see what is the problem over here. Your screenshots folder is already in great shape. No date in file name, so its file timestamp was checked. It's from April 26, so it stays what that is not the case. If I see the properties, this was June 25, so it probably wasn't able to understand what is happening over here. And I can actually go forward, make it have it make sense out of it, but I will stop over here because this is something that might get out of hands. Not like out of hands, but it might become too much complex. Or let's give it one more shot. It's completely fine. No, you are wrong about that file. It's from June 2025. Please check again. Remember how earlier it mentioned this is for Linux and this is a backup or a fallback. I'll just mention that hey, I am on a Windows system. I'll just mention, please check again. Also do note that we are on a Windows system. Let's see if that helps. So yeah, folks, this is how it basically works. So Claude Cowork, again, this is a very simple use case that you can actually go ahead and try it out before getting into any single okay, it's working on that. 1 second. So it actually moved that file. If I open 2025 June, please don't be 1,000 screenshots. I can actually just, yeah, there you go. Titan company peer analysis, but I wanted to save it. Also noted for the future on this Windows mount, HTC time reflects the inode change time, not creation time. So HTM time is a reliable date, whatever. When file names don't contain a date, I'll update the screenshot organizer skill to handle this correctly going forward. Want me to do that? Yes, please. So yes, this is how we basically share feedback with Claude. Now we are seeing it is running a skill called the skill creator. It will basically create a new skill comparing to the previous one, adding the feedback on top of it, save it somewhere, and then ask us, hey, I am done. If you want, you can actually save it. which will overwrite the current skill, I am completely fine with that, and we then proceed further. Let's see, Claude wants to use updating file. This is basically a tool it wants to use. I will, by mistake, I created on always allow. Do not click on always allow, always check. So there was a drop down, just click on that and see allow once, because I would like to see what it is actually doing on my computer before giving it like master control. So yeah, that is all for this particular video, and we basically, yeah, so this arrow, click over here and click on allow once. That's it, not allow always. So yes, folks, that is all, and this is very one of the minute or very mundane tasks which honestly you'll never do in your life unless you're dealing with like thousands of screenshots, which should not be the case. But this is something that one problem less to deal with, right? One box checked. So you can do it in this particular manner for your screenshots. You can also try it on your downloads folder. I tried doing the same thing, the organization for my downloads folder, but I scheduled or I triggered the task using my phone. So there's a Claude dispatch as well. I'll cover that in maybe a later video, where we see how you can basically dispatch tasks and ask Claude to do something on your system, but just giving a command from your phone. So I'll tell you that as well. I think basically this is all done. I'll just let it complete. Yeah. So what you need to do, you just simply need to click on save skill, upload and replace, and that should be enough. That's all. So basically you see over here, falls back to HTM time. Earlier it was C time, now it has updated to M time for some reason. Now it is actually using large modified, but still I don't want to get into very depth of it, because it's again a very mundane task, just the screenshots, right? So in this case, what I would like it to do is that next month when it actually runs, I'll come back and see, hey, what's happening over here, because this is a very low value task for me. I don't want to spend like a lot of my time on this particular task and would like to move on. There are more Claude Cowork related things I've actually tried, and it is really good. Getting that confidence from Claude Cowork rather than ChatGPT agentic mode. But yeah, so that's it, folks. That's what I wanted to share. So try it out, Claude Cowork, and one thing you can actually mention that if you can figure out how to fix this problem, the ordering and everything, right? Just basically one feedback I wanted to share with Claude, that hey, the Claude Cowork, that hey, from next time onwards you should actually use this format instead of this format, but that will require a two-pronged effort. Number one, fix existing folders. Number two, update the skill itself so that new folders coming in every single month follow the new pattern. So that is something for you guys to figure it out. If you're able to do it, that is well and great. Just you can mention in the comments that you are able to do that. If not, if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask, or reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's all. Thank you. Bye.